If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune into the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, hey, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home, yeah.
What's up, St. Louis? Thank you guys so much for tuning into our 52nd episode.
52. That's a whole year. Every single Wednesday, we have not missed a week. Consistency is key. And without you all, we wouldn't even have a show.
Absolutely. So I'm your host again, Marissa Farrell.
I'm your other host, Luke Farrell, and we want to take a few moments to thank our studio sponsor here at Half Coast Studios. They've produced, edited, and distributed every single episode that we've put out every single Wednesday morning. Shout out to Matt in the back on the ones and twos. You can find our podcast on YouTube if you want to watch it. If you're listening, Spotify, Apple, all the platforms.
All the platforms, wherever you get your pod. So anything else?
Of course, our friends over at the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis, Jay, Vanessa, team over there at Regional Arts Commission. They're the largest public funder of arts and art organizations right here in St. Louis. They just opened up their 2023 grants. They fund artists, but they also fund art programs around St. Louis. And really, without them, we wouldn't be able to put these out. So there's a lot of people that we have to thank.
Big thanks to them.
For these episodes. Four Hands Brewing Company, of course, Kevin and the team over there, always hooking us up with product. Sponsoring our events when we need it, and really just being an overall great partner. So.
For sure. So today on our 52nd episode, we're going to get just a little personal, just so you guys know more about Luke and I and just a little bit more of our upbringing. We don't always share a lot of that because we're solely focusing on everybody else, which is awesome. And so today we're actually going to do a little reflection over our past year, some of our favorite episodes and guests. It's really hard. It was really hard to choose that. Honestly, like going through the list, I'm like, we have to narrow this down to like maybe 5 if we can.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that other people were not our favorites, because I think we can both say that we took something away from every episode, every guest. We walked away just feeling good. You know, it's awesome just talking about people, getting inspired by people, learning their stories. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to turn it to Luke and just have Luke share a bit about his upbringing, which is always the question we start off with our guests is, tell me about your upbringing. Where did you go to high school? Tell us about your family. So we'll just kind of do that.
Yeah. So what's up, guys? I feel like I'm on the other side of the mic today, but I first want to just say that I love doing the podcast with Marissa. It's Valentine's Day. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the roses on the table. But yeah, thank you for the question. Really, my upbringing, grew up in the St. Louis area, about 30 miles out in a town called Dardenne Prairie. I know we've had some guests on from Dardenne Prairie recently, but really just played sports. I loved spending time with my family, my friends. We lived right next to a baseball field. So we would just go up there. We would always play baseball all day from sundown to sunup, or sunup to sundown. Kids these days, they play on their tablets, but we went outside, didn't watch as many movies as you, but, my mom, my dad, sports were just huge in our life, just because every year we were always traveling to play baseball or wrestle, all day meets. So sports were just always big for me. And then leading into my adult life, tried college out. I wasn't, in love with it. I really wanted to make money and earn, and I always was passionate about entrepreneurship, but I just didn't know how to do it. So I worked a lot of sales jobs from door to door, telemarketing, literally the hardest and worst jobs you could work, but really just help build those skills, on how to talk to people, which the podcast reinforces that as well. But I loved those sales jobs, made really good money, sold a bunch of stuff, but I really wasn't fully fulfilled. So when we moved to St. Louis, went on vacation, we started this fun, travel page where we highlighted things to do in St. Louis and our city and what we were doing, because we love going out and we love going on these dates and exploring and trying new things. And that quickly led into creating my own marketing brand, Mango Social Marketing, where we help businesses with their digital presence. So whether that be social media, whether that be their website, branding, and it's really evolved over the years. It's going to be 4 years this July. 4 years full time since February 2020. So I guess February of this year, this is 3 full years in business.
It is. Yeah, like probably just like, I feel like this week.
February 15th. So tomorrow is when I quit my job, February 15th, 2020. And when I stopped working at the call center. But yeah, it's just been fun being able to be creative and reinvent myself and work with all types of people all over the St. Louis area. And we really try to stay local because one of the biggest things I love about the business is being able to actually go and meet my partners and meet my clients and actually make an impact in their life and go above and beyond for people. But we're constantly changing what we do. One thing we always focus on is just really going above and beyond. Is I always, and stay up late to get things done for people. And that's not because I have to. I don't really have to, but I just want to. So yeah, it's been obviously that's condensed. We'd probably have to do a full episode on it, but that gives you a good idea of a little bit into my story. And I'm just really excited about continuing that momentum and continuing to work with local brands and really expand our footprint. But yeah, I just love it. And I love the podcast. The last year has just been super special. Not only to get to talk to people, but to spend every Tuesday at 3:30 with you. We record every Tuesday at 3:30. We drop every Wednesday morning. But yeah, it's just been really fun and we're just going to keep it rolling. So
yeah, for sure.
Thank you for the question.
You're welcome.
Let's hear yours though. I didn't know you were going to put me on. You didn't warn me on that.
I did throw that at you, but I do. I'm like, okay, well, you guys have been listening to us for 52 straight episodes. So now, like, who are you listening to? So my story, I guess, I grew up in 2 households. There's a lot I could unpack there, but again, that's like an episode on its own. So yeah, I give, all of everything that I am comes from my dad and my mom. I have great siblings that I adore. I have a great family. Everything I know and just my morals all comes from my parents. So shout out to my dad and my mom for bringing me up. You guys have prepared me a lot for my life and all of the challenges I've gone through in life and all of the successes that I have. And so, yeah, I grew up a little bit in Winsville, a little bit in O'Fallon, back and forth at both of my houses. I went to Timberland High School, which is in the Winsville School District. So that's actually where Luke and I met as friends in high school. And then I actually graduated from Fort Zumwalt and made a lot of good friends there as well. But I did my 2 years at St. Charles Community College. So I started off there and was really actually funny because I was going to study business marketing, which how the tables have turned a little bit. That's what Luke does now. And eventually realized, that wasn't where my passion was. And so while I was going to school, I was working at an early childhood center. So I was working with 2-year-olds at the preschool level. I loved it. I still love it. I have a lot of great relationships with the people that I worked with there. I'm still really good friends with so many of them. I'm still really good friends with a lot of the parents there. So it was a great community. And so just realizing my passion for kids as much as I love the 2-year-olds and potty training, saying, do you have to go potty all day? Like, wasn't exactly, I mean, like, it was it, but it wasn't. So I loved English. And so I studied English education at UMSL, and now I've been teaching. This is my second full year in the Parkway School District, and I have a job that I love. Truly, my job doesn't feel like work. I think we just had this conversation the other day. Like Luke and I like to count our blessings a lot. One, starting with each other and having the support from one another to get where we are. Thank you. Like, you're an amazing husband and I love doing everything with you, and it's always fun. And it's just nice to have that support and come home. And like, we were making this joke the other day that we kind of like fight to share our stories of like, well, this is what I did today. This is what happened. And like, it's a good fight. It's like, we are just appreciative of our work, and not a lot of people have that. Most people it's Sunday and it's, I have to go to work, and we are fortunate enough that we enjoy getting back to it. So,
right.
And we work with great people. So that's kind of my background. And again, love working with you, love doing the pod. I cannot believe it has been a year. That is so wild. So yeah, like just the bucket list experience is awesome in terms of connecting to different people, and getting to do fun things and highlight. We always say highlight, and it sounds repetitive, but really that is what it's all about. That's why we started it. And so just getting to highlight the people on the show has been really awesome, because you do get so inspired by the people you're talking to, hearing their stories, hearing the adversity faced, and then hearing the successes of where they are now. It motivates you to think, okay, well, what am I going to do next? So I feel like that's kind of how I figured out like my top 5 choices a little bit. Again, I took something from every single person. And I know like whenever I shared my list with you, you were like, oh, I would have picked them too.
Yeah, so we had some of the same
lots
list.
of crossovers.
But 52 episodes, we've done 49 guest experiences. That's usually what our show focuses on, is starting with the guest, and we love to focus on entrepreneurship, but also artistic, ventures and education and all these different things that we focus on. So we're going to keep it rolling, and we're going to get into some of our favorite episodes. We're going to share some clips with you. Matt in the back, he's cutting up some clips for us to share for the audio version, but also on YouTube if you guys want to rewatch this. This is really a special episode. So Marissa, I want to hear one of your favorite episodes. Go into why, and then we can pull a little clip from it and listen.
Yeah, so these are not in any particular order. I'm not going like 1 to 5 or 5 to 1. It's just totally random, whatever I wrote on my index cards here. So starting off, I had Sammy Maurer from, I put the title of the episode too. So Apparel Stitched with Passion. She runs Series 6, which is a clothing apparel company. And I just really enjoyed, she was so articulate and genuine in her episode. So I think we'll pause for a moment and just give people a little snippet of her episode.
Listen here.
In stadium in 24 hours,
I believe that.
Which was so cool.
Did you cut the V-neck in it, or those are the special edition ones?
People have to cut them themselves. Yeah, we didn't do that with those. We kind of made it our own a little bit, but so we didn't have the V-neck. But I fully support anyone taking a scissors to it and turning it into a V-neck. But it's always so cool to see that stuff inside Enterprise Center. I still get excited, going to see it. And one of the things that I do at every game is I go around to all the kiosks and the different stores, and I make sure I know where everything is in each store, so I can, tell customers where to go.
Do you talk to people when you see a shirt and they have your shirt on, or do you not like fangirl over that?
It depends.
You're like, I'm to the point now where like there's a lot of shirts out there, but at the beginning, if you saw a shirt, you're like, oh my gosh, like look, I'm gonna go over there and talk to them.
At the beginning, for sure. I mean, more so my family or friends would be like, hey, that girl over there made that shirt. Like they would, they would love to go up to people and tell them, or like, especially like my dad, of course. But now I don't do it quite as much. But I will sometimes, like at games, I like to bring like a whole bag full of koozies, and then I'll run up to people wearing Series 6 and be like, thanks for wearing Series 6. Like, here's a free koozie, like that kind of thing.
So Sammy is amazing. Again, like she is close in our age. And so there's a lot of respect I had for her in terms of pushing through and what she's done. She started kind of working really in high school doing her t-shirt project, which was just like a fun class project. And she really realized like how much she enjoyed doing that. And that carried over into college, which is really when this, her company took off. And so talking a lot about being a young person who's trying to start their own business, that was really interesting to hear. And I think beneficial for just our listeners, because again, that shows like you can do anything, like that might not have been her plan when she was going off to college, but it's the plan that fell into her lap, and she took it and she ran with it. And now she's got so many amazing things and collaborations, huge collaborations.
Well, that's what I was going to mention, is one of the coolest things that I've witnessed Sammy do is during the pandemic, she worked with Left Hand Promotions, which Left Hand Promotions is a local print company, and they've printed stuff for us, shirts, bags, all types of stuff. But the cool thing about that is each month they did a t-shirt to support a local restaurant. So they created a restaurant series. They're still doing it today. So it's been going on for 2+ years.
And we had her and we
talked about it. And I think that was really cool because she raised so much money, like unimaginable amounts of money for these restaurants, and also gave them a product that they can be proud to wear. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, that was a good episode.
It was a great episode. And then she also talked, I think she like gave a little anecdote about like the amount of boxes in her house, and then like, you know, her fiance and having to take that on, and the support from her family of like boxing things up before she even like had her storefront. I just loved that story. I think that was really cool because again, like entrepreneurship is not easy. And when you're young, like I think there's a lot of people who might tell you can't or do something else. And she just had immense support. And so just seeing that was just really nice.
Yeah, I'm on board with that 100%.
Because we get that. So that was really relatable. Like we get a lot of love and support from our family and what we're doing, especially like our families who listen to our pod. Like
listening right now.
That's a big deal to us. So we love you guys. And so we just really appreciated CME's episode in terms of her hard work, her dedication, the love and support she gets from her family. So Sammy, keep doing your thing, girl. You're amazing. And we can't wait to represent all the gear when hockey season comes about.
Absolutely.
You want to go next?
Yeah. I'll go next.
Switch off and on, I think.
Yeah, I'll go next. So I think that one of my favorite episodes, one that I worked really hard to get, and really just somebody that is world famous that we had on the show has to be Nikki Glazer.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. She's funny. She's kind. And she just pulled up by herself, came into the studio and gave us one of our best episodes. It's definitely one of our most listened to, downloaded episodes. But yeah, it was an interesting story. So somebody at my office listens to her podcast, and she mentioned STL Bucket List, that she used it when she was back in town, and she sent it to all of her comedian friends. So then I'm like, oh, well, let me see if she follows us. So I go on her page, and then I shot her a DM, say like, hey, I heard you shouted us out on the pod. Like, thank you. We'd love to get you out on our podcast. And she immediately responded and say, I'm down. And then it took a couple months to get her set up, but we got her set up. So I want to pull a little clip from her episode. So if you guys just want to listen here to Nikki Glazer.
I just think that if we normalize things and talk about it more in the open, when it happens to people, there'll be more likely to go, hey, this happened to me and this was fucked up and I'm not going to struggle with it on my own. And the beauty of talking about things, that's why like I struggled with suicidal thoughts for so many years before I talked about it, because I just thought it's too weird. No one else struggles with this. No one else. I have a great life. I have parents who love me. I have a great career. I just did the Tonight Show and I want to kill myself. This is embarrassing. And if I say this publicly, who's going to want to work with me? I'm a liability. If we hire her on our show, she'll kill herself and then we won't have a lead of this show. So I thought, not going to ever share it. And then the second I did, because I just was like, fuck it, the outpouring of people that were like, I think about killing myself too. And I have a family and I have a success and I'm rich and all that. Or I think about killing myself. And even if your life is shit and you like, so many people think about it. And that, by sharing that thing that I thought was just me, I was like, so many people feel this way. And it's not my fault. I'm not like, it just is showing up in my brain and it let other people feel good. And it made me feel bad. It's for me too. I mean, It's not just me being like, I just want to help people, but these things help me as well.
She is so funny. Shout out Nikki Glazer coming on the podcast.
She came in hot, giving you a diss on the haircut, which I love because honestly, like you said, like she's funny as hell, but she's so kind. Like I did love that. And she was also, again, on my list because one, like I remember someone asked, like, are you nervous? Like she's like a bigger guest. And I'm like, no, she's human. And I don't have that like, oh my gosh, we have a celebrity in the building. Like she was the most genuine. Like I feel like we could go kick it at her house and like watch movies and laugh and talk. And like we talked about some pretty real shit. I mean,
she opened up. She definitely opened up on the episode, but then she gifted us some tickets for New Year's Eve. We got to spend New Year's Eve at her show. Even Haley, one of our photographers, she took backstage. So it was just really, really cool to build that connection with her and that experience. And hopefully we have her on again soon. So.
Yeah. And she also talked a lot about acceptance of people and just being a kind person and being careful with what you say. And, you know, I think what'd she say? She was a teacher again at one point or something?
She said something about teachers. I think her sister's a teacher.
Yeah, like she just has a lot of appreciation and she's a good person. So she was awesome to have. And what'd you take away from that?
Well, I felt the same way. Like I was actually nervous to have her on because, you know, you weren't, but I kind of was. And what I took away from that episode is just that she's real and authentic. And, you know, I got, you know, some tips on how to be funnier, I think.
How to be funny. And then again, like jokes are jokes. There's never ill intent behind it. So
yeah, well,
so it's like, that's part of the joke. So just laugh and just laugh at life. It's okay.
So who you got next?
Okay. Next I've got Jason Bachman, and that episode was titled "The Most Interesting Man" because he is the most interesting man. That was our longest recorded
2 hours
episode.
and 50 minutes.
Yeah. So you might have to listen to that one in chunks. And that's okay. But I promise you it is worth the listen. Here is a little bit just to kind of get you going. And then go back to the episode and just listen to the full thing when you can.
And the funny thing about this clip is that he got over the table. We were eating donuts on the clip and he jumped over the table and like had you wiped your powdered sugar?
I was eating a chocolate Long John.
Yeah.
And I had icing on my hand and we're trapped in this room because we're recording a podcast. You can't leave the room. And so I'm like sitting there with sticky fingers. And he said, just wipe it on my shirt.
And he jumps over the table.
I'm not doing that. He goes, he leans, he's a big dude. He just leans over the table, wipe it on the shirt. I think he was wearing a white shirt or something too.
And he's the owner of Strange Donuts. So you guys watch the clip here if you're watching on YouTube. If you want to listen to it, you might be able to get some little tidbits out of it. But yeah, listen to Bachman here, jump over the table.
Dog. She answered the question the way that she was asked to answer it.
Yeah.
Slow down, dog.
Right.
And quit sending me this crap.
Well, people send headlines and they don't even actually read the article.
All the
Bury
time.
people.
Yeah. All the time. I have chocolate hands.
And why? Because like I probably have chocolate over my hand. You wipe your hand on my shirt.
Don't mind me.
Sleep,
no, I'm not going to do
it.
Oh my God.
He's got powdered sugar on his shirt.
We're best friends now.
I'm dirty.
He's got powdered sugar on his shirt. You're going to have chocolate on the mic, man. I'm sorry.
But people do that, right? Like we want to hear one part and we don't want to like accept these people as humans that are like completely, you know, like, man, multifaceted, whatever.
Right.
Like that's a whole human right there. That thought is not them. Most of the shit that I think, I'm like, whoa, I thought that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not even my thoughts.
Right.
I'm like what I do and what I practice and
yeah. He's a strange man, isn't he? He is. But he is a very sensitive man. So a big part of his episode that I love is the concept of humble beginnings. And Jason definitely grew up in, I guess, just not an ideal situation. You know, he didn't have it easy. He had a lot of challenges and made some decisions that led him to really overcome those decisions and eventually be the man that he is now. And he's very honest. Like, it's not easy. Like, he admits, like, I made these decisions. This is where it led me. And he had that moment of, I need to get life together. And he was given that opportunity and he took that opportunity to the point where he has this 2.5 hour episode of amazing life stories and things that he's done, from, you know, selling mattresses to the hot dog stand to what he, you know, having the donut shop and the creative aspect of how he promotes his donut. It's just fun. It's unique. It's different. Some people might not love it, but he really is like, he's unapologetically him.
Yeah.
And so as big of a guy as he is and as big as a goofball, like, he's a sensitive guy, and it got really real on his episode.
Yeah. We definitely teared up. He cried a little bit. But it's really just a true testament of where hard work, creativity, and passion meet. And really, like you mentioned, the entrepreneurship journey and, studying abroad and doing all these things with no education. So guys, go back and give that episode a listen. Jason Bachman, the most interesting man in St. Louis, really, really good episode.
Yeah, he's a great guy, very empathetic, very kind, hardworking. So that's a lot that you can take away from listening to that one.
I agree 100%. So I'm going to bring it back to episode 1. This was our first episode in the studio. We were searching for one of the most creative, interesting people to get on the show. So we got my guy, Brock Seals, on the show. If you guys don't know Brock Seals, he's a, multifaceted artist. He does sneakers, but he does exhibits. He's a rapper as well. He produces music. He's really just an all around creative person that does so much with his art in the community, whether that be with children. At CVPA, he actually painted the lockers on a recent after everything that happened at the school.
After a tragedy in his hometown, he did something to make the days a little bit better.
Yeah, it was called Art That Heals. So Seals Brock is his artist name. Brock Seals, all around amazing artist. I want to pull a little clip for you guys to listen on that one, just to show you how passionate he is about what he does.
But I'm glad that I did what I did at 18.
Yeah.
Because I got it out the way.
Right.
But I would just tell my 18-year-old self, you know what I'm saying, like, just keep trusting yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got this. Everything that you want to make happen will make happen. But just
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Be patient.
Right.
I tell my 28-year-old self there right now, be patient. Because I be still like, you know what I'm saying, worrying myself sometime about why stuff not happening when I want it to happen. Right. I got to realize it's not on my time. It's on God's time.
That's right.
So I just got to trust the process.
And episode 1, shout out Brock Seals coming through the studio. We definitely got to get him back. We've been to a lot of his shows. He's painted live at a lot of our parties, but you can just tell in the clip there about how passionate he is about what he does. And he's going to go somewhere someday, or he already is. He's already on the way.
Yeah. And like he did a great, that's cool to talk about, like the first episode on episode 52. I love that, like throwing it back because we did not know how it was going to pan out or where it was going, but like breaking in the show with Brock being our first guest was really cool because just here, that kind of gave us the drive of like, we knew where we were going. And he had already done so much. And over the course of that year, like we have seen him do so much because around this time last year, do you remember we went to the show at Coca? And,
right after the podcast.
His family showing out. And he's a really good dude.
Yeah. Shout out Brock.
Yeah.
Who you got?
He's the bomb. All right, next is Maxine Clark, curious, passionate, and a divine leader. That's a play on words because she does a lot of work on the Delmar Divine. And so she was phenomenal. And I look forward to working with Maxine in the future. One, let me just say, she is the first person who has ever said to me, thank you for being a teacher. Like, I will never forget that. No one had ever said that to me. I thought that was so strange. And then after that, I actually had like a couple other people say it. But her respect for educators is just something that the world needs more of. And not only just the respect for educators, but again, like she does a lot for humanity. She's a believer in doing the right things and being supportive. She only gets involved into things that she is purely passionate about and sees going somewhere. So she's really, besides Build-A-Bear, like she's so much more than that. She's so much more than that. And really it comes down to the fact that she doesn't have to be, you know, and that's what's so special about Maxine is she's very successful. Obviously, Build-A-Bear is one of the biggest gift companies in the world, but really just putting the work in, and it doesn't matter your age or, how old you are, you can still do things to affect the community. And what she's doing with the Delmar Divine and creating a space in an area that needed it the most is just special. And really it's just her focus on education. So here's a clip. We got to listen to a clip, just throwing it back to Maxine.
And it was only her second year of teaching that she had inspired me. And so it's not like necessarily years and years of experience. It's a love and connection with your students and the subject matter that you teach. And that's the passion that comes with it. What are you teaching and what are you passionate about? And what are you working at? Are you doing what you're passionate about? Whether you're a photographer, a radio announcer, a graphic artist, athlete, do what you love. And then you'll do it well. If you're doing something that you don't like, then it'll be treacherous.
So talking to her after that episode, like, lit a fire under my butt, honestly. Because I was like, because she was very like, thank you for being a teacher. Anything you need, let me know and I will help you. And I just thought that was awesome. And so a big thing, like a big takeaway for me from Maxine was just welcoming opportunity and growth. Like that is a big philosophy of her. So for me, like I took that, and now this year, right, I just got approved to start my own club mentorship program at my school, just to build women up, confidence, leadership, all kinds of skills. And I can't wait to reach out to Maxine and ask her to jump on board and get involved in some things. And so thank you for just inspiring me and pushing me. This is an idea I had kind of been hanging on to for a while, and that just like made me hit the right pedal, just push the gas and
it did
take off. So
it did. I noticed that and how motivated you were, and the fact of, just her words and how smart she was. And, she knows that it all starts in the classroom. So putting that focus into working with organizations. So shout out Maxine. Yeah, we'll have to send her that clip. We'll send her that clip because she might like to hear that. So my next person is somebody that actually works with Maxine. He's going to be opening up a restaurant there at the Del Mar Divine. Called the Deli Divine. But Ben Parimba came on the episode podcast probably about 6 or 7 episodes ago, so not too long ago. But what I really love about Ben is how passionate he is and well-versed and educated on the origins of food and how food and culture connects neighborhoods together.
Totally.
And if you guys ever get a chance to go over to Botanical Heights neighborhood where Ben has 3 or 4 of his restaurants over there, he's got Olio, Elia, Ao & Co. and Nixta. You can see how he created this neighborhood around food. And he exposed that neighborhood to cultures like Israeli and authentic Mexican culture, and then even elevated dining, and provided a market. So,
and there's a reason that he built in that community, in that area. And I think that clip of him addressing that and his reasoning for why he built up and laid foundation there is amazing and very important.
Yeah, give it a listen.
And I had to really justify to myself, what am I doing, and articulate really what we're trying to accomplish. And that's why multiple businesses was very necessary, because I wanted to give everyone a chance to experience that neighborhood. That's why we've opened a lower cost place like Olio and Chouquette, a morning time place, having Ao & Co. where you can come in and grab a coffee. So all these businesses, the idea with them is not just a variety of businesses, it's a diversity of businesses. It's the idea that you can come in here for whatever reason, with whatever income level, and still experience that neighborhood. So I'm very big on community engagement and making sure that your business is part of a neighborhood and it's not just an island in and of itself. But yeah, that neighborhood wasn't great, and it wasn't great. If we want to talk about it, I mean, politically, because of systemic racism. I mean, plain and simple. There's no other explanation as to why this neighborhood. There was lack of resources, intentional lack of resources, disregard. But when designing those 2 highways that went right through the neighborhood, chopping it off. So for years and years and years, blight and poverty and intentional disregard. And
so it's just incredible, the work that he does, and really he doesn't plan on stopping. And that's another thing. What I love about entrepreneurship in general is you obviously can do a lot and do a lot and do a lot, but it's really just about creating community and building beyond, in the way he takes care of his staff, and just working with him over the last couple months has really kind of inspired me.
He's been a good mentor to you for sure.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like equally, he appreciates you and the work you do for him and with him. And, I don't think he looks at you as beneath him. I don't think and even just seeing Ben in person and going to his establishments, everything for him, he's looking for teachable moments. Mm-hmm. So everyone is on the same page, and it's never he's just you can always be better.
Yeah, he's just a special person. So shout out Ben Parimba. Great episode. Really enjoyed that one. A lot of good feedback from other people in food that really enjoyed that one too. So
yeah. So my last one is, this is my last one. No, I have two more. I can't count. Okay. I have Brian Owens next, and he was probably one of our earliest episodes.
It was the first month, yeah.
Yeah, first month. I was going to say first, like 5. His episode was Faith Family Ferguson. And so what I really appreciated about Brian is, again, he's just another person who puts in the work to give back to his neighborhood. And so he loves to invest in Ferguson. He takes care of the community. That community takes care of him. And so he touches a lot on that because he's a very busy man in terms of music, in terms of business. He's a father of what, I think 6,
8,
7 kids.
Yeah.
We could keep counting.
8,
yeah. And we got to meet one of them, which she was a gem and she writes. And so it was really cool to listen to like just some of just the talents that his children are, capable of as well. So here's a little listen about from Brian talking about what's important to him.
The 80-20 rule is basically this. Everybody has a 100%. That 100% is all the things that I do in my life. There's about 80% that I'm supposed to be totally involved with. My hands are on it all the time. There's a 20% where I may be called just to facilitate because it's not exactly in my wheelhouse. It's not something necessarily that I have a deep passion or desire for, but maybe God wants me to facilitate it or to start it and hand it off. The nonprofit was in my 20%. A lot of things in my life over the last 5 years have been in my 20%, and now I'm beginning to hand those 20% things off to people who it's really their 80%, so that I can focus on my 80%, right? Which is platform development for young creatives, continuing to build out my brand and platform as an economic driver for the young creatives in my ecosystem, and to retell the narrative of my city, specifically the one that I call home in Ferguson. To reshape those things like that. That's my 80%. The other things are not in my 80%. They're in my 20%. My family is in my 80%. See, and the thing is that you don't want to get that mixed up. Right. Because what happens is you start to put the stuff that matters in the 20%. See, if I would have been out on the road, it would have been flipped. See, my family would have fallen into that 20% for me.
He's like, and this is like a total teacher reference, but he's like your Atticus Finch. Like he's like the same in his home as he is in the streets, in the world, right? Like he's a father figure at home. He's a father figure in his community. He's giving back. He's working with kids. He's providing opportunities for children and, young adults to get work. He is mentoring. He's involved in his church and promoting faith. And he's just a well-rounded guy. And I remember leaving that episode feeling just good. I just felt good. One, he sang for us, and it's always nice to get a little live music on. But he just is a man of faith, and that was like really inspiring. And just his principles and values and what he is trying to do for his community. I think I just look forward to seeing his successes in the future.
Yeah. Before we get to the next one of our favorite episodes, let's listen to that part where he sang there.
Okay.
So let's play that clip.
Okay.
Snap. You want?
Yeah. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. In every life we have some trouble. But when you worry, you make it double. Don't you worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Ooh, 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 ooh. Do. Said, ooh, 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 ooh. Do, 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 do.
For my next person, this is somebody that grew up in St. Louis. Her family owns an incredible restaurant in St. Louis, but She's incredible. Miley came on the podcast, talked about her music, talked about working in the restaurant. Still today, she still works in the restaurant, and really her family and growing up as a Vietnamese young girl that wanted to do music. There wasn't anybody to look at for that.
There was no representation for her. She was going to school and was an outlier culturally and was bullied and struggled. And you would never see the effects of that because she's a badass and she's confident and she's loving. And she just, during that episode, was talking about the work she had been putting into her dropping her album. And since then, we've had her on. The album is dropped. So if you have not gone to listen to Friends, please do so. It is so good. It's an ode to each one of her own friends. So each song actually starts off with a little
clip from her friends
talking about her and how they met her, and it's super cute. So throwing it back to Miley.
Yeah, let's listen to a clip.
What motivated me was me going to Vietnam in 1997 and seeing my relatives for the first time and seeing how we lived. No mattress, just wood, no air conditioning, just a fan, mosquito bites everywhere, like no toilet, for real, because we didn't have a lot of money, you know.
Basic.
Yes, it humbled me, and I'm like, I can do anything. You can do anything you put your mind to, and not just that, but I put 100% into everything that I do, whether it's working at Miley's or my music, I don't know, or whatever I'm doing, cutting grass, writing a poem, I don't give a damn. I can't half-ass anything because you guys will see me half-ass it. And you're going to feel it, and you're going to know it. I think I really motivate myself, to be honest with you, because no one else is going to push me, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to be happy. And I'm going to inspire, because I feel like that's my gift. And it's not just the music though. It's a story. And me releasing this album coming out, I'm so excited because it explains a story. And yes, you can vibe out. You're going to feel every emotion that I felt, y'all. I swear to God. But I want to inspire minorities, right? We don't get that opportunity a lot. Or I want to inspire females. I want to inspire males. I don't care who you are, but I want to build a community and be like, yo, we can do this. Don't give up. Don't be timid. Have faith in yourself and fucking do this shit.
So other than her fantastic music, I really just love, her motivation and her drive. She said something in there that, she can't half-ass anything. And what that means is...
Because you'll know, and because I'll know, and they'll know.
I'll know, yeah. She'll know for sure, but then the people are going to see it. So whether that be working at the restaurant, whether that be taking out the trash, mowing the grass, or whatever it is, you can't half-ass anything. And I think that anybody can take that, whether you work at a bank or you work at a school or wherever you work. It's really important to just embody that in your brain of not being able to half-ass anything. And it could be something as little as taking out the trash when your wife tells you to take out the trash, so it doesn't get too big.
Just do it. No.
No, but I'm serious though. But yeah, incredible episode.
She's one of those like cool. How you do anything is how you do everything kind of girls.
And you got to check out the nails she had on the episode and
her
the
nails
fit.
Are on
she had the Balenciaga
all the
fit
time.
on. I mean,
oh my God, the
out.
work she puts in to she kills it. She is. She's glam. I love it. She's goals. Let's just say that. Okay, so now finally, my last guess, and this has nothing to do with the fact that Kevin Limp, Forehands is a sponsor. Seriously, this episode again was one. He's a leader, and I really appreciated our conversation when we had him on the episode. Our partnership followed after that because Kevin is constantly giving back to the community. And that's something that Luke and I are always trying to do, is like, how can we give back? How can we help people in need? And that's everything that Kevin and Four Hands is about. So let's just listen to a little tidbit of him talking about some of his organizations and things that, you know, are important to him.
I think that with anything, you need to be hyper passionate about what you're about to embark on. Right? I mean, I think that like 3 main qualities of success are, and I tell my kids this daily, right? You're going to be polite. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. You're going to hold the door open. You're going to surround yourself with people that you care about and love, and you're going to treat people with respect. You're going to have an insane work ethic, and you're going to find your passion. And honestly, I think those are the 3 keys to a successful life. Right? If you do those 3, you live your life with those 3 key elements, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be happy and you're going to be successful. And success can mean whatever you want. I think it means happy, right? Like that's my definition of success, is just being happy. Yeah. That's what drives me to make all my decisions. Right. It's to be happy. We do not have a lot of time on this earth. We just do not. And I would like to try and spend every day happy.
So yeah, Kevin and his team, they're amazing. Again, like it was kind of one of those, like, if you want something, ask for it. And Luke and I were like, hey, can we set up a meeting and possibly get you as a sponsor? And he was like, I really love what you guys are doing. We were nervous. Remember, we were like, oh, you know, he's such a laid back guy. And like what I really love about, our partnership is, and Kevin in general, is like, when we went to have that meeting, we also got a tour of the brewery, and his son was working.
Yeah, it was during summer break.
It was during summer break. And so like, he's got a lot of values. Like he's like, my kids, they don't get anything. Like if you want something in life, you have to work for it. And so he doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. And that's something I appreciate.
I agree with that 100%. And like one thing I took away from that episode was the passion with whatever you're doing. So he said something in the clip of like, you have to be hyper passionate about what you are doing and what you're about to embark on. And that like sticks to me. I listen to that clip a lot. And really he embeds that into his kids. Like, we're going to say, yes, sir. We're going to work hard. We're going to do all these things. So shout out Kevin Littman.
I think a lot of that was like stuff we align with. And then also just like, again, giving back to the community, like you saying, you know, if you have to be hyper passionate. I started off this episode talking about why Luke and I don't feel like we're working half the time, because we are passionate about the jobs. And so I think when he said that at that time, that was something you needed to hear. One, because it's easy to be like, you know, entrepreneurs, sometimes it's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. It's like, you have to like have a reason and a love and a passion behind it. So I think that was like good for you to hear too.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out Kevin Limp, Four Hands. They're expanding all over.
Yes,
St.
big
Louis,
things coming from them.
Really exciting stuff for that group there. So,
and thank you for saying yes.
For sponsoring. Of course, the products. I mean, come on, guys. Best product line. I mean, not only gin, beer, vodka, whiskey. I mean, they have all these products and non-alcoholic products as well. So you can enjoy that. Their brewery's amazing. Food's great. So yeah, I have the last one. This was really hard for me. There's of course a bunch that I did. I did a couple solo episodes. I didn't want to really include any of those, but like shout out Joe Edwards was a great episode. The Duke of Del Mar, and then there was just a handful of others that we, every guest, like you said, we've had on, we've gained extreme value from, and at worst case had an amazing conversation and connected with somebody. But one of my favorite personally was Akeem Shannon of Flipstick. His story is another story, a true testament of passion when passion meets hard work, and that dude does not take no for an answer.
He's so Akeem.
Yeah,
I mean, unique. He busts his ass and he's in your face and in a good way.
He sells himself, and I feel like any young entrepreneur that has a product can learn something from him, because he literally manifested his way onto Shark Tank by going to a conference where Snoop Dogg was going to be at and all these people were going to be at and making custom things. Like, he bought the ticket to go there with not knowing the result of what was going to happen when he went there. But not only Shark Tank, just all the stuff he does for the community as a mentor, as a big brother to other young entrepreneurs. We'll listen to a clip of him right here.
Yeah.
It is so possible for you to make a living and a life doing what it is that makes you excited every day. And so, you know, I actually tell people now, I'm like, look, if you believe that you can do something and you want to go after something, don't tell anybody, because almost always people are going to try to talk you out of doing what it is, especially if there's a big risk on the table. They're going to be like, oh, are you sure you want to do that? Well, you need to have a backup plan. Backup plan is always going to set you up for failure. If you're like, oh, if it doesn't work out, that's cool, I'll just go back. Go for it all the way. And if it doesn't work out, then you can go down another path. But yeah, I tell people, look, don't tell people, just go and do it. And I'm glad I've taken that motto several times, because there's been some crazy things that I've tried that have worked out, and some really big risk, calculated risk, but some really big risks that have paid off. And I could have easily let someone talk me out of doing those things.
And, you know, in that clip, you can just see and feel, if you're watching and if you're listening, you can feel the passion that he has for what he does. And I think that anyone that's interested in starting a business can take a listen to that. And he talks a little bit about omens and, you know, a book that he read that changed his life.
What was that? Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
No, it was called The Alchemist.
Yes.
And The Alchemist, it was in his apartment or house forever for how long, and then he was moving, and somebody referred the book to him. He lost the book. He found the book. He finally read the book, and you know it changed the trajectory of his life and his business. And I just see the way he supports his team. I mean, we work in the same building, so I see what he does up there, and I just really hope that his company can make it. I mean, they're sold everywhere. They're at Best Buy.
Doing great.
You know,
the moral of the story, kids, is to read. That's what the moral of the story is.
Moral of the story.
Lesson from your English teacher.
Read those books.
No, we did. I mean, again, like I could list 20 more people we've had on this show who we really enjoyed. Like, you know, Tamara O'Keefe, like the Clementine story of the man who had lost his mother, and like the story of the ice cream. And I mean, Jeff and Mary with Mother Model, and the story of finding Ashton Kutcher and the struggles, like the modeling industry being made out to be as glamorous, and the hard work that goes into it. There's just so many.
We've had some cool stories. One of my favorite stories was an episode at the very beginning during the day. You weren't here.
Okay.
And it was with Skate Laborious. They're a group that has an abandoned church that they turned into a skate park. And they actually convinced me to drop a freestyle rap.
That's why it's your favorite. You just get to show off your skills.
They convinced me to do a freestyle rap on the show. I'm going to have Matt play that clip because that clip is hilarious. But it was cool. It was fun. We had the whole place jumping. So let's hear that clip.
Fuck the shit. We here at STL Bucket List. Me, Dave, and Josh. Why? It's because of this place that you call Skate Laborious. It's glorious. And you know the flow big like Notorious. It's from St. Louis. This how we do it. We coming through ruthless. Some of us end up toothless. We might go and bust our shit, hitting a skate trick, but it don't matter cause we still building it up big. Bigger than you ever seen before. Something like a dinosaur. We might break your fucking spinal cord. Be no more if you end up jumping on the skateboard, but we still do this and we doing the work of the Lord. We got the kids in the underserved urban youth coming through with salutes, strapping up their boots, ready to go and put some volunteer work. And that's why we do it, cause they feel hurt. Yep, we gotta get their insides better because the lifestyle they might go through is terror. They might be into juvenile detention, maybe in school or after school suspension, somewhere that they can't go until they run into a dude like me and they say, whoa, hit the trick real slow. Then I opened the doors and every time they came in, they said, give us some more. You should know that, but if you don't, now you do. Coming straight to you, me and the crew, the bucket list. You should probably come up to this. They like, he wrote this down. How did he come up with this?
It's the
No, I
STL
didn't.
bucket list, you know it's Uncle Luke. I'm coming through quick with the Skate Laborious crew.
Feature.
You know what I do when I be twisted, I be lifted, I be lyrically gifted when I be shifted through the beat. Tune in on YouTube and Spotify too. You know it's Chris, Josh, and my boy Dave too. So we're coming in live. You know what
Hell
it is.
no.
It's STL Bucket List Show, bitch.
My boy Luke came through with the assist, and I came through straight creeping out the mist. Freestyle, eat them up, now they don't exist. I be shitting on them sometimes, I take a piss. Where's the urinal? I can bury them. They can end up going to a funeral. And me and Dave can do the services, cause we got the church and shit. But We ain't got no more time for that. This is about some nourishment for your soul and shit. Cause you know that you gotta go hard. But if you ain't motivated, then you can't go hard. That's why you gotta walk with God and keep God first. I'm out this bitch, I just killed the verse.
What do you think?
I mean, hey, I live with you, so I know your skills. I love it. That's a fun time.
Well, they broke me out of my shell.
I was sad that I missed that, so that was funny.
Yeah, but other than that, Skate Laborious, even though they're goofy and skaters and all these things, like that group does so much to bring kids in the inner city and give them something to do after school. And right now they're actually doing open calls for people to help build the ramps and learn skills with woodworking and bricklaying, tuck pointing, all that stuff. Yeah. So super, super cool organization. We've had some other live performances on the show. Our intro that you guys have been hearing probably for the last month or two.
I was gonna say, probably 10 or so episodes.
Yeah, it was one of our friends, Alex Rich. You're going to hear the song, but let's play it again.
If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune into the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, the city is a place we call home. A place we call home, yeah. Cause if you wanna hear about St. Louis, tune into the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Yeah, who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.
He is the best, Alex Rich. He's so fun. I just loved talking music and like what our playlists look like, our like pump up song, and he's just fun energy. You guys can hear him on Y98 from time to time.
Yeah.
You hear him at the beginning of every episode. He is a ball of fun. He's just a good guy for sure.
Yeah, the Y98 fam, Brett over at Y98 had reached out to me on Instagram a long time ago, probably about a year and like 3 months ago. And I've been going on to Y98
almost 2 years.
Every Friday morning. So that's how I met Alex up at Y98. And really, it's just funny because like never would I thought, we'd have this podcast that comes out every week and the Y98 radio. And it's like none of this stuff. It's like I never, I guess I did want to be in broadcasting. If my mom's still listening, she knows that I used to want to be a Cardinals announcer, which I know they're hiring. So I need to apply for that.
Add another gig to the team.
We had so many great moments. I mean, just listen through. It's always, you're always going to get something, and we don't try to, apply any, a bunch of things to make the episode. We just try to have a real, authentic, raw episode.
It is. It's like, yeah, we do. It's not even trying. Like we just sit down. We genuinely want to know about the people. That's why we seek them out to have them on the show. And we do our homework. We do our research just to figure out what there is to know that maybe our listeners don't know. But then we also are asking those questions. And it's funny because I feel like almost every time people have left, they're like, wow, like that was way easier than I thought. That was one of the best really cool. I love talking to you guys. You guys made that really easy to share my story. I didn't know I was going to get that emotional. And like, that's cool to hear because it's just we're at the table and we're talking. Yeah,
we're just sitting at the table. I wish we could play you more clips. I do have one more of another live performance that we did with Strings EMB.
Okay.
Beautiful, singer, artist, R&B, soul. If you guys want to listen to that, it's going to play here.
I need to make me a track like that because I kept listening to it over. Like if something grabs me in that much, I'm sure it's a whole bunch of people that's grabbing it in like that. I'm like, man, I need to make me a song like that. And her vocals, it was just really, really catchy and really like it just made me gravitate to her. So I was like, yeah, I need to create me a song like that. And then I think I instantly started with my my leading lyrics like, oh, I've been peeping out the window, wondering How and where would I go? Nowhere, cause this damn coronavirus got me stuck in here, sitting in the corner silent like I wanna leave, I will be gone now. This is all a dream, please wake me up, kiss and tuck mine to reality. But this too shall pass is what they say to me. As I stare through this glass, I'm going crazy. They think that I think that I'm perfect, but I'm just as damaged as you. The dark times, yeah, we do deserve them. To know that the sun will shine yet again on you. And we all will shine through at the end of the tunnel. The years on we're striving for, so we better not fumble. Claim your win, but please stay humble.
He just broke out. Like, it was crazy. He just like broke out, started singing. We were talking. You can kind of hear it in that clip. He was talking about how he made the song and stuff like that. But I thought that was really cool, how we kind of let people be themselves on the show. You know, it shows through the growth. And, you know, we just want to continue. And growth is, we really, you know, I care about the numbers, Marissa, not as much. But
no,
like,
I don't care about the numbers. I care about the experience and the people I'm connecting with.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, we want this to get out to more people. But yeah, other than that, I mean.
Well, with that said, so like, what are, you know, we're a year in. So what are you seeing for this next year? What are you envisioning for our guests to start looking like, you know?
So I foresee and manifest some more athletes coming on, some local athletes. I've been talking to some Cardinals players, talking to, you know, some of the soccer team. I see the show getting bigger in the fact of not just the guests. I don't like to say, oh, this guest is bigger than this guest, but like I just see a lot more people sending messages about wanting to be on the show. So just finding a way to really do our homework and really make sure that we're, you know, providing value every week.
Yeah, and as
guests.
versatile as possible.
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. But I just want to have fun. I think it's one of the most fun things I do. And I think one of the biggest things I take away from it, and I know I've said this to people in the past, is like, you know, back in the day, people used to like go get coffee or go golfing to meet people. It's like the podcasting is like a new way to meet and connect with people, because there's really not that many opportunities that you can have an uninterrupted, phones on silent, hour-long conversation with people, and then document it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the coolest things that we can look back on 30, 40, 50 years from now is like these episodes are documented. They're out there. Yeah. Happy 1 year.
Happy 1 year and happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's Valentine's Day.
If you were going to take your wife on a date for Valentine's Day, where would be your STL bucket list spot to go?
So we're going to get some sushi, pick up some sushi on the way home, get some cafe mochi. Yep. If you're looking, guys, tap into YouTube, watch the video, look at these 12 roses that I have on the table right here for my wife. But no, shout out everyone that listens. Shout out to our sponsors. We're actively always looking to work with other companies. If you guys want to be a part of the fastest growing show in the world, the STL Bucket List Show, tap in. We got a place on our website where you can reach out. You can always send us a DM or just email us at show@STLBucketList, and we will try to respond.
You're so cheesy. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys so much for just hanging out with us more one-on-one on a level, just getting our thoughts, our reflections over this amazing year. Thank you to all of our guests. 48?
49, yeah, 48.
Guests.
We've had doubles. The rack came on twice.
Yeah. 40. I think it's 47 guests. No. Okay.
48.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you for taking the time to share your story, talk with us, give our listeners insight into your world, and just inspiring people in the St. Louis area.
Yeah. And then the team over at Half Coast Studios, Matt, our engineer, really producing a fantastic episode. Alex, Garrett, the team over at Half Coast for trusting us, having our show on the pod. The Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis for just being an amazing overall organization that supports art in St. Louis because it makes it so much of a cooler city. Four Hands Brewery for keeping us keeping our thirst quenched. So
yes, can't wait to make a cocktail later.
We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.